Welcome back to the Sarasota Polo Club and NGN's continuing coverage of the USA Ultimate Club Championships 2012. We are now in a pre-quarterfinal round, the first round of straight single elimination, and we have a mixed division game for you between the Bay Area's Mischief in red and Boston's Slow White in white. These are two teams with a long and storied history. My name is Kyle Weisbrod. I'm here with Jackson Kelsey. Jackson, why don't you tell us a little about these teams?
Well, Mischief this year actually has a lot of new players on their team. From last year, they only have 8 returning men from their team. They lost all of their women from last year. 4 of the players went over to play with Blackbird as Blackbird went on to play in the Worlds. And then they lost some women to pregnancy. Some women didn't like how last year ended. So it's really a pretty new team. They do have returners. The captains are Matt West and Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith has been on the team off and on for about 10 years. So Mischief is really new. They haven't seen Slow White this year. These two teams did meet in 2006 for the Nationals, or for the final game. Mischief winning that game. And actually Mischief did pick up a player from Slow White last year, Chris Farina. And on Slow White's side, talking with them before the game, they said they really didn't have a big star player or anything like that. They don't have one player that they go to. They try to play as much as a team as they can. And we're underway.
So Slow White pulling, Micah Flynn with the pull. Mischief picking up. Big out of a horizontal stack. And a huge block right off the bat from number 3. That's Chuck McBride from Slow White. Good position here. McBride with the disc. Micah Flynn working to get open on the open side. Flynn looking to break. Travel called.
Actually think that was a foul call downfield. Players in front of the disc saying there was some contact. I believe it was an offensive foul, and simultaneously a travel call. Looks like the observers are figuring things out.
So the downfield players there, Trahey from Slow White making the cut. Adam Leventhal in red for Mischief on defense. Big opportunity here on the very first point. Conditions are still very windy here in Sarasota. Right now, Slow White with the disc is working upwind. Flynn looking for the forehand. Has a receiver and a shot to the end zone. And Slow White on the board first, 1-0.
That was Lexi Zalk with the goal. That was Lindsay Neubecker with the first goal of the game. Slow White breaks that upwind. Talking with both teams before the game, there was also, because it's so windy out here, instead of standard O-line and D-line that they'd be putting out, they are putting in upwind and downwind teams. So right there, Slow White had their upwind team going. So you're not seeing a lot of their traditional offensive players that you would see. Mischief is playing a little bit differently. They just switch their O-line and D-line. So D-line will be going downwind and O-line will be going upwind. So right now on the field, you see Mischief's O-line.
And the idea here for Mischief is to get more hands on the upwind where it's much more difficult to work it up the field. And then strong defensive players on that D-line, making sure that you're protecting that end zone, that important, and stopping that important break upwind. So Mischief in red receiving, second point of the game. Slow White up, 1-0. That's Mike Miller with the disc for the pull. Big Blady outside in throw. It's going to land deep in the end zone and roll. Nice pull. Mischief centers up.
Mike Miller, a guy that Slow White will be looking to have the big throws this game, especially going downwind and upwind.
So Mischief looking out of a side stack here. And turnover. That was Ethan Brown with the turn. So Slow White getting another opportunity here. Mike Miller going to pick up the disc. Slow White in a vertical stack.
Marked by Chris Farina, played on Slow White last year. Throw goes up. Little miscommunication there. Cassidy Edwards decided he was coming back. Then he saw the throw was going deep. Wind might have caught it a little. Mischief's disc.
So Matt West with the disc, captain of Mischief, picking it up. Slow White forcing back in. He puts up one right away. Has a receiver. Kevin Smith. Smith centering it. That's Bowring with the disc. Back to Matt West. And Matt West can't hold on to it.
As we saw last game, Mike Nattenberg started off the game. He's the captain of double wide, really set the tone. There's a captain of Mischief dropping there. Hopefully for them, the trend doesn't continue.
Mike Miller coming down with it. Slow White centers. Pick called in the middle of the stack. Does not affect the play here, so this stays. Slow White about 10 yards out. Here's a shot to the end zone. This one's a high floaty one. Wind picks it up. But Slow White able to come down with it. That's Kirsten Lundquist with the goal. And Slow White off to a 2-0 lead.
Difficult throw from Paul Sohn. Throws it outside. He's able to put enough spin on it that the wind doesn't catch it and it doesn't sail out the back. It sits right in Lundquist's hands.
A nice read by Lundquist there. She could have attacked it early, but she saw that the wind was picking it up, stopped her cut, and then just tracked it down. You know, of course this game is for quarterfinals, but with the USA Ultimates Club restructuring, this game is also the deciding game for which teams make it into the pro tier next year.
Very true.
So the winner of this game will have opportunities to play the top 8 teams consistently throughout the season at scheduled tournaments. And the team that loses this will be in the elite tier with the bottom 8 teams here at Nationals.
Yeah, and both these teams, Mischief and Slow White, when you think of mixed, these are staples in the competitive ultimate world.
So Micah Flynn with the pull. Big hanging pull. It's pushed back to about midfield. Mischief taking a shot, looking to get on the board. Almost sits down, but just a little too much wind, and Adam Brown can't come up with it.
Adam Brown, very speedy player for Mischief. They're going to be looking to throw to him a lot in the end zone. As we said earlier, this is Mischief's D-line because they're going downwind. See if they can hold off Slow White's attack.
Nice IO flick there from Flynn up to number 25, Alex Trahey.
Foul by Leventhal just to stop the flow. He saw that number 25, Alex Trahey, had an open look. Foul to stop the flow.
Oh, nice break mark from McBride. McBride with the backhand. And foul called. That's Lindsay Newbecker with the disc. So Slow White here threatening again to get another break upwind this time. Lots of pressure here on Mischief early.
Newbecker already 1 goal in this game, catching the first goal of the game going upwind.
A little discussion here about the foul call. Neubecker. Let's take another look at this one. So Neubecker pivoting. Mark definitely moving there. But both players responsible there for keeping that distance.
Neubecker marked by Deanna Bjorkquist.
So the observer rules it's a foul. This comes in at 0. Neubecker now with the disc. Up to Glickman. Trahey. Trahey looking for the IO and finds it, but dropped.
Dropped by number 3, Christmas McBride. Mischief going deep, looking for their speedy receiver, Adam Brown. One drop deserves another.
So that trade-off definitely benefits Mischief here. As now Slow White has to work all 70 yards. Flynn with the disc. Finds Vicky Chang. Chang, a strong thrower for the Slow White team out of University of Michigan. Just graduated this year after semis run in college nationals. She's originally from the Boston area, went to Andover High School. Chang up to Neubecker. High stall count, Neubecker pivoting somewhat wildly here. McBride bails her out. All the way across to Micah Flynn. Slow White struggling to get movement. Nice break from Flynn.
No pivot on that backhand. Stands out with a forehand pivot and reaches down just with his upper body. Low inside break.
Some more contact here between Neubecker and Bjorkquist. Physical matchup between these two.
Update from the open side plan. Chain taking the early lead on Johnny Bravo, 3-0.
Another foul called.
Wow. It's a good thing this isn't basketball. Bjorkquist already have 4 fouls in danger of fouling out.
And the reset to Flynn. Wynn pushes it down. Flynn unable to come up with it after the bid. So Mischief here with their best opportunity.
Leventhal fouled by Trahey. No contest coming in on 0.
Leventhal breaks the mark. A shot to the end zone, but way in front of the receiver, and Micah Flynn also poaching there.
I don't think the thrower saw the poach sitting out in the lane. They were really focused on their receiver. That was Nalavati breaking to the open side. However, there was a poach sitting there. Had they seen the poach, they probably would have holstered that.
Nice block.
Big layout D.
Some confusion here. Looks like Mischief on the goal line.
Jasper Hoitzma with it. Last year played on Boston Ironside. Leventhal finds number 9, Preethi Nalavati. Mischief gets their first goal.
So big point there. Matt Heffernan, the one with the block, excuse me. Big point for Mischief. Slow White had it on their goal line, unable to punch it in, and that drop very costly. The drop by McBride ends up with Mischief being able to score downwind and get their upwind lined in here. There's a little discussion between the Slow White players and Mischief. That's Leventhal chatting it up with Trahey. They were marked up on each other in that last point. A lot of contact, a couple calls between them. I think they're just trying to work out what acceptable level of physicality is between them.
That's the thing about Ultimate, you don't see in professional level sports in basketball or football on the sidelines. Whoa.
It looks like they made up.
Trying to plant one on him. Why not?
So these teams seem to get along very well, maybe too well.
High spirits.
So Slow White, they're downwind possession, working it down very quickly. And here's a shot.
Easy point from Slow White. Mischief just looked like they were trailing, not by 1 step, not by 2 steps, but by 5 steps.
So Batista to Sullivan there for the score. Slow White, very different than Mischief offense going downwind. Mischief offense really struggling. On the other hand, Slow White, I mean, just wide open players. And every throw easy, no turns, and able to punch it in. So Slow White opens up to an early 3-1 lead.
Actually, what I was trying to say between the other points, in basketball or football or baseball, you're not going to see players on the sidelines talking about how physical is it okay for me to get. There's not really that sort of camaraderie between the players, but in Ultimate you see that often.
Unless you're a first baseman in baseball, right? Those guys are always chatting up the
True.
others.
True that.
Probably not making out though, like you just saw.
Yeah.
So wind's been the big story this weekend. Really just strong wind, and it's been tough for these teams. You know, they game plan all season long, you know, for specific games. And you know, you talk to a lot of these coaches and the captains of the teams, and they say, well, you know, we're not really thinking about the matchups. We just want to be able to throw and catch in these conditions. You know, that's what's beating us. We're not being beat by other teams. We're beating ourselves.
Right.
And it's an interesting dynamic here to have just this consistent wind all weekend long.
Pole rolls up 10 yards gained.
So Leventhal up to number 11, Deanna Bjorkquist, and Bjorkquist with a shot and just missed. And Kirk Wilmarth with the catch and the goal over Micah Flynn.
Micah Flynn had that D. Catch your Ds.
Lots of movement on these throws. Micah unhappy with himself there. There's another look at it. Looked like he was actually trying to catch that one. And the wind just pushed a little low, went off his wrist, and right into the hands of Heffernan.
That's the thing, you have teams saying, oh, this wind, it's really messing with our game, but it's not like the wind is focusing on one team more than the other. All of these teams are having to play in these conditions, so it's really affecting all teams the same. It's really how can you adjust to this adversity, this adverse weather condition. If it was really rainy out here, the disc would be more wet and would slip off your hand. Here it just happens to be a 25-mile-an-hour wind. Put more spin on it, more inside out, and hope the wind doesn't gust.
And you've got to prepare for the conditions that you're going to face. You know, I'm sure the teams have different strategies, different defensive looks, different offensive looks for the conditions that they might face. You know, you might have a zone specifically for a crosswind situation or an upwind and downwind situation, and then you'd be prepared to be able to pull those things out.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a zone look from either of these teams. Generally, at least in the college division, what I've played a lot of, whenever it's really windy, teams are playing trap zones or they're forcing it to one side. I think of Florida's defense, famous for that 4-man cup with having 4 6'3" guys all in your face, really pushing that double team boundary. But here, these teams are playing man. They're just sizing each other up and want to beat each other.
A shot through the middle there, knocked down by number 55, Andrea Bowring.
Oh, and then dropped by Captain Matt West. Trying to say he caught it off his foot. I don't think so. Looked like it hit the ground.
Here's another look at it.
Bounced off the ground. No way.
Let's take another look from this angle. So it comes off his hand. That one looks very clearly on the ground from that
Bounced
angle.
off his knee and hit the ground. Matt West maintains possession.
So the observers on that one rule it up. Travel called, so it stops again.
Must be a very persuasive fellow.
So Kevin Smith.
Veteran of this team.
Smith with a long shot. Up in the air, number 4, Ethan Brown comes down with it. 6'4", using his full frame on that one. Back to Matt West. West around to Danica Fong. High stall count. Fong looks to West, not there. Goes to lefty for the little break. Nice move. And Kevin Smith with the shot to Bowring. And Bowring in the upwind end zone.
Mischief ties the game. It was a break.
So Mischief getting the big one back. Danica Fong opening that up with that nifty little lefty backhand. And of course that big throw here from Kevin Smith. Pulled down by Adam Brown. And another nice throw from Kevin Smith. That forehand really hung out well for Bowring.
I think another thing that opened up that point was the ability of Matt West to convince the observers that it didn't bounce off the ground. Total missed call. However, point is on the board and we are tied at 3s.
Definitely a tough break here for Slow White. And now Mischief going downwind with their first opportunity to take a lead. You know, a couple big swings. I mean, that drop that was called up, and then the drop a couple points ago that was called up that would have been, or the drop that was a drop. It would have been a goal to take Slow White up to 3-0 early.
Yeah.
And here we are at a tied game. And Slow White to me has looked a lot better throughout this game, despite that. So Heffernan with the pull. He's going deep and out the back.
Heffernan must have had his Wheaties this morning. I'm sure that wind helped a bit there. Jasper Hoytsma. Earlier in the game, I said that Hoytsma was on Slow White on accident, but he's actually, or yeah, he is on Slow White, but I said that he was on Mischief. He is on Slow White. Played on Ironside last year.
So Hoytsma marked by Leventhal. Side stack here. One cutter out in the lane. Here comes the Phil. McBride. Swing over to Hoytsma. Here's a shot deep. Great form from Hoytsma. And the catch by number 42. That's Mary Glickman for the goal.
Not much pivot here on that throw. He stepped out and then didn't pivot at all. Just threw from a standstill. Was able to put enough spin on that. Kept it inside. Came over. It's number 42, Wendell Wilson. No, Mary Glickman, right in stride.
Yeah, great wrist snap there from Hoytsma and great angle of release, a little I.O., and so it flattened out in that upwind situation. So Slow White doing it very easily on that possession going upwind. Puts the pressure right back Back on to Mischief for this upwind point. Mike Miller here from Slow White with the disc. Getting ready to pull.
Update from the other open pre-quarter game. Machine taking the early lead on Rhino 3-0.
So contact downfield as the disc gets centered up to Kevin Smith. A little discussion. Won't change much as Smith had just gotten the disc, so either way it's going to be a stall count of 0 or very low. Observer rules it is a foul. 2 observers here in green, Mark Fritz and Charlie Grievers. Observer's been on all of these showcase games, doing a really good job of keeping these games moving. Farina dishes down to Matt West. Pick called, middle of the field. West. Marked by Mike Miller.
Ethan Brown stepped onto the field. Just in on 0. Matt West to put it in play.
Stall count on 0. West with the break. Back to Mike Miller. West. Nice grab. Shirley Wu.
Almost a run through D there.
And Miller taking a shot right away. Bit of a poor read there from Todd Herman, 55 from Slow White. Looked like he stopped, looked like he was going to try to attack it early, and then realized that this was going further than he thought it was and couldn't quite make up the ground. Here's another look at it.
Caught a gust of wind just at the end.
I think if he just run that one out, he would have pulled that one in.
Chris Farina there on D. Played with a lot of these players here on Slow White.
Kevin Smith with the shot from power position downfield. Big one.
Throw.
Danica Fong on the goal line calls the timeout. Very nice movement there from Mischief. They work it across the field. Kevin Smith charging across, getting in that power position, and then great low release there. Lots of snap. And right on to Fong on the line. So here's Mischief now with an opportunity on the goal line. This is a big one for them. All of these upwind points are incredibly important.
Very difficult to work the field work the disc 70 yards up the field, especially swinging it across. There's kind of a crosswind coming from that cone behind the Slow White players back towards the end zone. You have to swing it across with your forehand, and then the throw there from Kevin Smith all the way up the field.
So Fong going to put the disc in. Looks like West is set up as her primary dump. Kevin Smith is the secondary. Sorry, Chris Farina is the secondary dump. Kevin Smith first in the stack. West initiates. This comes back all the way across to Farina. And Farina all the way to the opposite end zone, cone, and out of reach for Shirley Wu.
Looked like that was their set play coming out the timeout. Simple dump, swing, hit the front of the stack.
You know, I know that's a real classic type of end zone play in those situations, but that's a lot of yards to have to cover with the disc when you're that close to the end zone.
It's true. You almost think take a shot right here, right now.
You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go 40 when you only need 3 to score.
It's true. That's Ethan Brown with the D.
Across to Fong. So Mischief able to get the disc back here, and Fong not happy with the contact there from Jamie Shed. 37 on slow white. Observer comes in, rules it is a foul. So Shed rotating that mark, leaving a big opening. Up to Farina. Farina finds Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith in a position he likes to be in, but there's no receiver for him.
Falls over and rifles it to Bowring. And Bowring hits Ethan Brown. Mischief scores. They tie it at 4s.
So 3 consecutive upwind goals here in this game. And Mischief ties it back up again at 4-4.
Mischief 4, slow right 4.
Updates from other open pre-quarters games. Chain up 6-2 on Bravo. Machine up 4-0 on Rhino.
Machine up 4-0. Thought the earlier update was that Rhino was up 3-0.
No, it was Machine.
Machine's up
Machine
4-0.
was up 4. Yeah, Machine is up 4-0.
Rhino's had a long road this week and lots of long games and long points.
Double game point is the story this year. They've had 11 double point games this year. Won 9 of them.
So big pull here from Mischief. Slides into Hoitzma. Nice grab by Hoitzma. Hoitzma marked by 24, Leventhal. Oh, and a big foot block. Looks like this one may be coming back on a foul.
It's a great confident grab from Jasper Hoitzma. Grabs it right in front of Leventhal.
So Jeff Smith calls the foul here.
Machine now up 5-0.
Wilmarth on the mark. And here's a shot deep. Up to number 4. Truesdale. Truesdale near the goal line. Hoitzma. And Hoitzma pushes that one in. And another upwind score. Slow white up 5-4. Another look at that big shot up the field, up to Truesdale. See Hoitzma trailing. And just an easy little shovel pass there to Dan Batista, who caught the goal. Both teams handling the wind, going upwind pretty well. Again, I'm surprised that neither of these teams are playing zone in either direction. You know, I think the key going upwind is to get yourself into a good position and take these shots. You know, get into the hands of your really good throwers and take good shots. And a lot of times in a zone, you can contain that a lot better. You make it hard for those big throws to go up, and you force a team to go back and forth, depending on the type of zone you're playing.
Yeah, the goal when you're playing a zone is to really have a lot of passes horizontally across the field. But both these teams, when you're playing man, it's a lot easier to throw it vertically, north and south, up and down the field. Opportunity to gain yards. Get your defenders off balance. Neither of these teams on defense is really containing the other team's offense. They're kind of letting them run around. A zone might help with that.
So this gets away for a second from Farina. Centered up. That one's up to Kevin Smith, but looks like Slow White's calling it down. Here's another look at it. Looks up from this angle.
I think what the Slow White player is arguing is that because he pancaked it, it seemed as though the disc changed direction, and as he was pancaking it, the edge trailed against the ground.
Here's the slow motion. Ooh. That is a close one.
Oh.
I think that on that look with that slow motion, that one definitely looks down for Smith. Looks like the observers are going to choose not to rule. They're going to send it back. Back to Met West. How far away are we from instant replay and ultimate, you think? Like observers ruling on instant replay. Whew. Get an official up in the booth. Booth replay.
I don't know. If Major League Ultimate and things like that can establish themselves, generate some revenue, you could see it in 10 years maybe.
Fong unable to hold on to that one as Mischief was working downfield. And here's Slow White with a shot. Micah Flynn falls down in front of him. I think that's a good look there for Slow White. Not too far off from a goal. So West again with the disc now. And West taking a shot right away to Kevin Smith. Nice throw. Smith pulls it down. Great defense from Slow White there, but a foul call. It was Ryan Richardson with the block. Here's another look at it. A lot of contact there, and Richardson didn't touch the disc, but I'm not sure that's a foul. Be interesting to see what the observers rule.
That's last year player Farina, played with Slow White.
We're going to take another look at it.
It almost seemed that Richardson had the space before Farina could get to it. There was contact, but oftentimes players D it and then create contact.
Well, this one went back to the thrower here, so they ruled it was, the observers chose not to rule, or the player sent it back. And Mischief turns it over. Travel called.
Chris Waite didn't ground tap it as he was bringing it back into the playing field proper. That's why the travel was called.
McBride centers it up to Meriden Darcy. Some movement there. Nice break from McBride. A little IO backhand. Jamie Shedd. Travel. Gonna bring this one back. Brings back a few throws. Kevin Smith calling the foul. Calling the travel, excuse me. Observer rules no travel.
Ethan Brown on the mark.
So McBride marked by Ethan Brown. To Jamie. To Richardson. High pass pulled down by McBride up to Micah Flynn. Flynn lays one out. And caught
pinpoint
by Chris Waite. And Slow White finally able to convert the downwinder and take the 2-point lead, 6-4.
Great grab right here by McBride. Reaches back over his head.
Just beautiful touch on this throw right here. You can see him, he kind of like snaps his wrist at the end of his extension, lets the wind do the work to push it, and maintains its spin and its flatness from that spin.
Yeah, the disc didn't jump at all. It came out smooth and it followed the same path. Didn't speed up too much. It was coming out hot and sat back right in Chris Waite's hands. Slow White gets a break. They take the lead 6-4, stops the string of upwind offensive goals. Rhino finally getting on the board. They've scored 2 in a row. They still trail Machine by 3. Scores Rhino 2, Machine 5. The other open game, Johnny Bravo trails Chain 3-6. We don't have any updates from the women's games yet. Haven't seen anything posted. Michael Miller with the pull.
So Mischief on offense here, down 6-4 against Slow White. Slow White again in a man-to-man, straight up. Here's a shot deep. And coming in from the backside is number 14, that's Kirk Wilmarth. I believe the intended receiver was Malavade.
That throw coming from Matt Heffernan. Kind of leans back. Wilmarth able to track that one down. Mischief not wasting any time, not allowing Slow White to gain much momentum.
Just got an update from the women's pre-quarter action. Ozone from Atlanta and Boston's Brute Squad. Ozone up 6-2. Ozone working up from the bottom brackets. So Mischief making quick work of that last point, 6-5. Looking to get that upwind break back. Matt West to pull. Offsides called. So the offsides rule here in Ultimate, much like it is in football. You cannot cross the line until the disc has been released. First call is a warning call and it results in a repull. Second one results in a yardage penalty. The defense is offsides. The offense will get it at their attacking brick mark, so 20 yards outside the end zone.
Updates from open play. Chain takes half on Bravo, 8-3. Rhino getting another point. Machine still leads 5, Rhino 3.
So repull here from Matt West. This one's high and Blady. Lands just close to midfield. Slow White in their vert stack. West poaching the lane some. Quick movement from Slow White. And here's a shot to the end zone. Across. Oh! Todd Herman with the bid for Slow White, in and out of his hand. He was really close to making that grab. Lots of speed on that disc.
Yeah, lots of extension there. His 6'4" frame, fully extended. Got his hand out there, just couldn't grasp the edge.
So West to pick it up for Mischief, looking for a break, upwind. West takes a shot, has Kevin Smith, but the disc does not hold its edge. Out of bounds. Across the field for Slow White. Kim Sabo. Back to the other side, over the head of the intended receiver there, Jeff Smith.
It's like there was a collision between two Slow White players. One of them probably able to make a play had there not been a collision. That disc was floating.
Matt West with a nice fake with a backhand break to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith looking for the backhand, pulls it back. And across the field to Bjorkquist. Actually, Bowring. Bowring back to West. To Kevin Smith. Nice movement here from Mischief. Ethan Brown. Kevin Smith. And Smith with the shot to Brown. And off his hands. Big turnover there.
Looked like he thought he was going to hit the ground before he caught it. Clasped his hands just a little bit early. See the disc goes up. He starts to lean. Maybe a little scared of hitting the ground and focus on catching the disc.
So Brown actually takes an injury sub. Coming in for Brown is number 42, Wendell Wilson. Slow White also takes a sub. Coming on the field is 13, Dan Patista. So Slow White now hoping to capitalize on this opportunity given them by Mischief. And off the hands of one receiver, but another one catches it. Truesdale with a big shot. Two receivers. And number 9, Jeff Smith pulls that one down. Big swing there for Mischief. Mischief dropping the end zone goal, upwind, and Slow White converting quickly.
So close to getting that break and tying it at 6s. Instead, Slow White again extends their lead back to 2. See here.
Great heads-up play from Mary Glickman, number 42. And a nice shot here. Two receivers. Easy catch from Jeff Smith.
Just puts it up into the wind.
So Slow White here, their first opportunity for half, up 7-5.
This is the long road for these teams. This is the extra game. If any of them are going to compete later on in this tournament, it's really going to be challenging, having to dig deep. They've been training all year long. This is, of course, the one pre-quarters round. All the other teams in quarters get that bye.
So McBride with the disc here to pull for Slow White. McBride with the pull, low pull. Rolls a little bit, out of bounds. Leventhal to pick the disc up. Marked by Hoitzma. Jessica Matting with the disc. Looks for the reset. floaty one, and Hoytsma comes down with it. Hoytsma, outlet pass right away. Up to Alex Trahey. And Trahey calls the timeout. And Slow White looks to put it in and take half. So as they take a break, we're going to take a quick break as well. Come join us for the end of this first half momentarily. Welcome back. Out of the timeout here from Slow White, up 7-5. Alex Trahey with the disc. Slow White looking to punch it in here. Hoytsma with the initial cut from the reset. Goes across to Chris Waite. Waite all the way across the field to McBride. Call on the mark here. Stops play. Disc check back in. McBride with the IO. And out of the reach of Kirsten Lundquist. Can't come down with it. So Slow White unable to convert off the timeout, giving Mischief the disc again. And Mischief right at it. Nice catch over the top. And punching it in.
Tiziana Bjorkquist with the goal. Slow White almost able to break into half, extend their lead to 3. However, Waite overthrows Lindquist. Mischief takes a shot downfield and finds Bjorkquist.
So the big huck off the turnover there was Heffernan to Wilmarth. Connection is working very well for Mischief so far. Here's another look at it, right off of it, forehand. Wilmarth tracks this one really well, goes up strong. That's a tough angle to catch a disc at, coming kind of across and over the top.
He almost caught the trailing edge as the disc was coming down.
And the easy +1 to Bjorkquist. So 7-6. Mischief gets that one. Still down 1 upwind break.
Update from women's pre-quarters. Capitals up on Traffic 7-4. And Ozone up on Brute Squad 6-3.
Matt West, the full for Mischief.
So Matt West with the pull for Mischief. Jeff Smith with the disc. Jeff Smith with another shot. This one very long.
Rides the win out of bounds.
Truesdale, intended receiver. So Matt West to pick up here. Marked by Steve Sullivan from Slow White. West working, finds Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith looking to go deep, puts it and calls, does not call the foul. It's a very low throw. I think he expected contact there.
Just didn't get it.
Steve Sullivan. Dan Batista over the top. Pick call in the middle of this. This one looks like it's going to be coming back. Nope, never mind. The pick did not impact the continued play. I was right the first time. This one's coming back. Batista up to 21. Steve Sullivan. Sullivan out wide to Smith. And Smith to the end zone to Rosie Agno for the goal. And Slow White takes half, 8-6. Slow White will be receiving to start going downwind. So they get that break to stick for the first half. And as the wind picks up here, we'll be taking a halftime break. This is NGN Network with encoding from Elemental Technologies. Stay tuned, we'll be on a different stream for the second half. Definitely come and find us as we close out this round. Welcome back to Sarasota, Florida, the second half of the mixed division pre-quarterfinals between Slow White and Mischief. Slow White up 8-6 over Mischief here in the first half. And the first half was marked, Jackson, by a lot of calls, a lot of stoppage of play, and kind of stilted action. Let's take a look at some of that.
There's one very poor foul call. You can see the Slow White player steps into Mischief's mark, practically an identical call. And then this play, Matt West drops the disc, it hits the ground. And the captain, Kevin Smith, it clearly hits the ground. And then a foul call here. And then this one, here is a travel call, receives it. Not even sort of a travel. Kevin Smith with that travel call. Just poor officiating from the observers this game. Lots of calls going different ways.
Well, say, you know, I understand there's a lot on the line here, and these teams have been practicing really hard to get to this point, and this is their season, right? You know, this is to get in the quarterfinals. It's also for
nationals.
Next season. But these calls are pretty bad, you know, and they're broadcast to the nation. And a lot of people are watching these games. They can see Mischief making these bad, questionable calls. You know, it's a little surprising to me to see them come with these. You know, that travel call particularly was just horrendous, just stopping the flow of the Slow White offense. Especially
with spirit of the game being such a big deal in Ultimate, just respecting your opponent and playing a very fair game. You would want the captains of the team to be the leaders of that, showing that spirit, showing the respect of the game, trying to be making the most correct call. Hasn't gone that way here in the first half. Let's see if things can change in the second half.
So, Slow White to start on offense here, going downwind. Up 8-6 already, opportunity to put another downwinder in. And a drop from Rosie Agno, giving an opportunity to Mischief going upwind. Kevin Smith picks up the disc, looking at Matt West. Slow White able to intercept it. Here's a shot deep. Wide open receiver.
Looks
Will
like
it stay in bounds?
Ride the wind.
It does.
Extension from Dan Batista. Big point for Slow White. Come out, convert that first point out of half. They push their lead to 3. It's almost like getting a free break as they took half 8-6, then scoring the first point out of half. It's Steve Sullivan throwing a big outside in backhand to Batista.
So Slow White, quick conversion there on the turnover from Mischief, not giving them the second opportunity of the point. And up 9-6, their biggest lead of the game. So over in the women's division, Ozone takes half against Brute Squad, up 8-3. Wind picking up here right before half. We felt some very strong gusts, pushing over 25 miles an hour, feels like.
This game a rematch of the 2006 mixed final. Mischief won that game. Slow White looking to avenge that loss as they take the lead 9-6.
So Mischief with the disc, looking at the reset, Leventhal. High release Going over the intended receiver. Big block from Richardson, pulling down the trash.
Poor decision there. Both the offensive cutter was downfield. The defender was right with him. They were both looking at the thrower, and then he just threw a 50-50 ball.
So Trahey with the disc.
We have a pick called.
Trey with the outlet pass. Up to McBride. McBride around. Newbecker. Back to Richardson. Cross to Hoitzma. Nice movement up to McBride.
Creating good space by swinging the disc. Cutters fall into suit, then everyone crowds the lane. See if they can swing it down over to the other side.
Hoitzma looks off the swing. Tries the inside out to Richardson. Richardson pulls it down. Nice hands.
Big grab.
Hoitzma on the dish. And Hoitzma taking a shot deep.
Again with that no pivot flick huck from Hoitzma.
And Trahey, the receiver, in the goal.
It's the second time this game we've seen Jasper Hoitzma step out, wait a second, and then throw, really throwing from a standstill. It's almost like a disc golf throw.
Lots of action there from his wrist and his arm there to make that movement. Almost no hip action, right? No step, as you mentioned, and just able to put a lot of zip on that without that.
You're able to see as the disc flies, there's clearly a lot of spin as it flies very securely and straightly. And if there wasn't a lot of spin, then the wind would be blowing it and be fluttering all around, but that disc holds its line and sits just right on the back line so Trahey can toe the line. Slow White pushes their lead to 4. They get another break, score the first 2 points out of half. Update from the open side. Chain Lightning taking a commanding lead over Johnny Bravo. They lead 11-6. Machine took half on Rhino 8-5.
So Mike Miller with the disc, for Slow White to pull. Up 10-6. Slow White in control. Roller, that one's gonna roll out the back, nice pull. So Mischief will start on their goal line.
Winner of this game goes on to play Chad Larson Experience. We're able to take the #1 seed from the Polar Bears out of Pool E.
I was speaking with some players on Blackburn. They were commenting on how good CLX looks. They've been just dominating their competition so far. Very surprised at their strength. So it's gonna be a hard matchup for whoever wins this game here today.
Especially with that extra game, or with this extra game.
So Mischief with another call here. Matt West calling the foul on the throw.
Didn't really look like he was affected very much.
That is very questionable to me. It looked like he threw it behind his receiver. Not a lot of contact there. Observer stepping in. We're gonna take another look at this one. I don't see any contact.
I don't see any either, and it didn't look, even if there was contact, certainly didn't look like it affected the throw at all. But
well, it comes back. Observers ruled it is a foul. Kevin Smith can't come down with that one. There is a lot of contact between two
quite the
Slow
collision.
White defenders there.
Pat on the back, I think they're all right.
A little shaken up. There's another look at it. This one just not spin at all. And a poaching defender comes off from Slow White and hits the defender to the intended receiver.
Much different from that Hoitzman no pivot forehand. It held its line. That one, very fluttery.
So Mike Miller picks up the disc quickly. Travel call. Farina on the mark. Back to Mike Miller. Pick called. This one should stay here with Miller. And getting wide open, Adrian Altobelli with the goal.
Altobelli. Goal, goal.
And so Slow White, 3 quick ones right out of half, extending the lead to 11-6.
Taking a commanding lead.
Altobelli able to get open there on Fong on the open side by several steps.
Slow White was really the team that said they were the ones that were losing the games. They weren't being beat by anyone. It was all themselves. But here, definitely stepping up their game when we get into elimination play. They're definitely taking it away from Mischief. Another update from the other pre-quarter mixed game. Cosa Nostra up on American Barbecue, 9-5. Mixed teams that advanced in this tournament already in quarters. Chad Larson Experience, who we talked about earlier. The Ghosts, Polar Bears, Dragon Thrust, Blackbird, and Odyssey. You'll see Ghosts and Polar Bears play in the morning, Blackbird and Odyssey.
So Mike Miller with the pull for Slow White. Slow White up 11-6, largest lead of the game. Mischief, nice space in their horizontal. Adam Leventhal. And here's a shot. And she releases that very hard. That was Pri Nalavade looking for number 11, Deanna Bjorkquist.
Put a little much on that one.
Just rocketing it out of her arm. Mike Miller jogging over to pick up the disc. You don't have to put a lot of speed on these discs going downwind. The wind is going to do a lot of the work for you. Going upwind is another story, though. Miller with a nice around break to Hoytsma with power
Great
position.
throw to space.
McBride. Slow White looking very smooth in their offense. High stall count. Call downfield. It's like another foul call on the mark.
Mischief starting to look a little defeated. Definitely trailing the Slow White players. Of course, the rounds here at Nationals, 2 hours and 15 minutes till soft cap.
Newbecker. Cross to Hoytsma with the low release.
D from Navalade.
And Navalade going deep, but that one's not going to hold. Navalade had steps there. I think a flat throw out to space there would have been very catchable and a goal there for Mischief. But instead, Mike Miller now.
Thrower just had to wait a couple seconds, let their Navalade get to the end zone. She had about 15 yards on the defender, on her defender.
Miller with a shot deep. McBride. Edge holds enough for McBride to pull it in. Lots of contact on the mark there. McBride calls it. Take another look at this. Great throw here from Miller. And McBride reading it well. keeping it in front of him. And that's just a hack from number 1, Warren Schechter. So McBride calling a timeout. Up 11-6 with the disc, heading upwind. So while they take a break, we will take a break here. We'll be back with you momentarily. We're back from break. And the slow white timeout. McBride with the disc. Slow white showing vertical stack. Mischief coming out man to man. Looking to extend it to a 6-point lead. Mike Miller, active in the front of the stack. Covered. Contact on the reset. Adam Leventhal and Jasper Hoitzma.
Looks like Leventhal just took a charge there, calling a foul.
So stall count comes in 6. Looking for Hoitzma. High stall count, break around to Miller. Miller can't hold on to it, is behind him. So Mischief here with another opportunity. And here's a shot deep to Leventhal.
Leventhal has steps. Oh, an enormous bid. He took flight.
Leventhal landing hard there, but great bid from him.
Slow to his feet. That is a phenomenal bid. Player putting his body on the line. Looks like he's going to be taking a sub.
So here's one more look at it. Leventhal tracking it. Goes with his right hand, his trailing hand there.
Leventhal trying to get on SportsCenter's top 10 plays.
So Leventhal shaken up, takes one.
That's the second time this half that Mischief has had a player streaking deep, wide open. They seem to just be rushing their throws a little bit, wait a half a second, and throw that same throw, and then they can hit them in stride. Their timing is just a little bit off. And with this win, you really have to be right on it with your timing, with your cuts, with your throws, where you're placing it.
So Kevin Smith comes in for Leventhal. Hoitzma with the disc. So the observers communicating with each other. And here's the disc checked in. Hoitzma pivoting. Pick. Stall count will be coming in stall 5. Hoitzma with the IO to Mike Miller. Oh, and drop by Hoitzma there.
Costly drop from Hoitzma.
But Mischief gives it right back.
Heffernan right away gives it right back. So we have a pick called.
Mike Miller with the disc. Up to Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith with a shot deep. Hoitzma intended receiver. Kevin Smith comes down with it on D. And Kevin Smith looking right back at it, but this one right at Mike Miller. Mike Miller just had to turn around and catch it. Wind's picking up again. McBride Out in front of Mike Miller. Mike Miller cannot pull that one in.
Hoytsma trying to air bounce his forehand. Releases it very low.
Nalavade deep. Smith puts one up. The field won't hold that one either. Mischief really struggling on their deep throws. Too far or too much pace on them.
Yeah, this wind is really affecting their deep throws.
So Jeff Smith, let's pick it up. No reset back here for Slow White. Io off the tap in to Hoytsma. Pick in the middle of the field. Come in, stall 4. Foul called on the mark. Leventhal. So they're discussing. It's coming in. It's uncontested. It's coming in with a stall count of 1. Hoytsma. Looking at the reset. High stall count. Back to Smith. Smith to Hoytsma. Hoytsma with the IO. Turns over. Kevin Smith able to pull it down, knock it down.
That time, Hoytsma really stepped into his forehand. Wonder if he's more comfortable keeping his foot out, waiting a sec, collecting himself, and not pivoting.
Here's a shot deep.
Another deep shot for Mischief.
This one on the money.
That time it works. Jenna Bjorkquist, that's her second goal of the game. Mischief scores their first point of the second half. They stop the bleeding. This goes up. Bjorkquist jumps, does a little pose, and scores.
So much better deep throw there from Kevin Smith than we've been seeing from Mischief on those downwind throws for much of the game. Bjorkquist pretty easily able to make a play on that disc.
Update from the open bracket. Johnny Bravo coming back a bit. Chain Lightning leads 13, Johnny Bravo 10. And in the other game, Machine leads Rhino 11-7.
So Mischief, you know, we talked earlier about teams going zone here in these conditions. It might be time to make an adjustment, down 4 points here late in this game.
Yeah, you got to change something up. You got to generate some turns on defense. Figure out a way to get the disc in your hands.
Well, we see man-to-man. The Slow White seeming to move very well. Anyo with the disc. Anyo with the IO. Up to Batista. Batista calls a foul after the reception.
Looks like he was shaken up a bit on that play. He got a little bit of a hip pointer. Doesn't need a sub though.
Kim Sabo. Sabo up to Truesdale. Truesdale on the goal line. And an easy forehand throw. Good edge on it.
Batista with another goal, his second of the half. Slow White takes the lead 12-7. Slow White a bit more accurate with their throws, their deep throws especially. They're definitely clicking there. Mischief has overthrown. They did complete their last one to Bjorkquist, scored their first goal of the half. Slow White's throws are just a little more accurate in this win.
It feels like Mischief's defense isn't putting a lot of pressure on that downwind Slow White offense.
Right.
You know, I think there needs to be a different look that they need to put out there, because they're not going to be able to pull back in this game by continuing to do the same thing and expect something different to happen.
Yeah, you have to make some sort of adjustment, and we haven't seen any sort of adjustment from Mischief. From Slow White, I don't know what their adjustment is, but it's working. They've scored 4 goals out of half. Mischief only 1.
Speaking of adjustments in the open division, Rhino mounting a little bit of a comeback, only down 9-11 at this point. And Bravo also making a bit of a comeback, down 13-12 against Chain Lightning.
13-12, getting close over there.
In the women's division, Ozone in control of the Brute Squad game, 11-5. Over on this field, Slow White up 12-7. Mischief going downwind. Leventhal back on the field. Leventhal with a backhand. Great piece there from a very heads-up Kirsten Lundquist in the middle of the field. That looked like it would have been able to get to Quisenberry, the intended the receiver, if she had not been able to knock that one out. Alex Trahey picking it up.
Heads up D from Lundquist.
Reset around. Wait. Trahey through the middle. Cody Rebels. Wait. Trahey, excuse me. Trahey up the middle to number 12. That's Chris Wait. Wait with the shot.
That is an awesome throw, and the receiver can't bring it in.
Well, I think this one is going to actually come back to Slow White prior to the release of that throw. A Mischief player went down. Looks like Leventhal again. He's coming off the field. I believe that because it's retroactive to the injury, this is going to come back to the hands.
Then is when the injury happened. And then the throw occurs. Definitely a couple seconds between the two. This should be coming back, which it is. Great throw by Chris Wait. It didn't matter, it would have come back. Rebels drops it downfield. Such a hard throw to throw an inside-out forehand upwind.
So disc coming in, a stall count of 0. Wait with the disc. Taps it in. Rebels working the lane. Gets it. Rebels with the break. To Richardson. Looks like this one's going to come back. Call from Mischief.
We do have a call.
Nice little break from Rebels. Trahey with the IO. Across to Vicky Cheng. Vicky Cheng continues it on. Pick called in the middle of the field. Does not impact the continued play, so it's going to stay with Wait here.
The district's going to stay with Wade.
Over in the open side, we can see Chain shaking hands with Bravo. It's like Chain moving on to quarters.
Chain pulls the game out 15-12. Trahey, another call.
We have another pick.
So Chain Lightning battling up from the bottom brackets today
Okay, no effect on
after a
the play.
tough Thursday
Will stay with Brady.
and qualifying for the pro tier. Rebels. Another call. Travel this time. Coming with a stall count of 0. Reset back to Trahey. Pick called.
Getting lots of calls late in this game.
Trahey with the IO. Wind really picks up this time, and that one just flies off the field. So Mischief gets the disc back on the corner of the end zone. Across the field. The wind is the heaviest we've seen it all game right now. Schechter across the middle. Downfield to Adam Brown. Adam Brown up to Schechter. The tight dump throw to Sonny Zaccaro, incomplete. And Trahey picks it up.
Those throws are difficult to put touch on, especially in this wind.
Trahey's forehand doesn't hold. So Mischief to get the disc again. Heffernan picking it up. Heffernan around. Heffernan with a shot, has a receiver. Richardson on D, again overthrowing. Looks like everyone misread that one.
Yeah, must have been a big gust of wind right then.
Wait with the disc for Slow White. Pick called. Reset to Trahey. Rebels. Travel.
Another travel call on Rebels. Rebels doesn't like it.
Let's take another look at this travel. Here's Rebels with the disc.
Couldn't really tell from that angle. It did look like he took more than 3 steps.
He's a big guy, 6'6". It takes a while to slow down. So Rebels throw turns over, and Mischief gets the D. Shot to the end zone. Now on both sides of the disc with the D and the goal, number 91, Beth Quisenberry with the bookends. So Mischief back on the board. Here she is with the block. Immediately breaks downfield. And Heffernan picking up and taking the shot right away.
The bookends for Quisenberry.
So 8-12. Slow White in control of this game, still working downwind. Mischief to pull. West with the disc, pulling upwind.
Ouch.
And a drop here from Slow White.
Looks
Looks like she's all right. Mischief starting to make maybe a little comeback here, getting some turns.
So Ethan Brown, Kevin Smith. And Kevin Smith with a shot to Ethan Brown. And yes, with the upwinder. So Mischief getting a break back.
The upwind break. One's much more difficult to get. Kevin Smith steps out. Hits Brown right in stride.
That's Mischief's first upwind break since 3-2. So pulls within 3. This next one will be an important one for Mischief to convert that downwinder back. A lot of work to do for Mischief though. Still 2 more upwind breaks would be required and every single downwinder.
Update from Open Play. Machine leads Rhino 14-9. Machine looking like they're on their way to playing Revolver in quarters tomorrow. The other 7 teams in quarters, Ironside taking on Chain Lightning, Double Wide versus Goat. Revolver playing the winner of Machine or Rhino. And Sockeye versus Ring of Fire.
Mischief pulling downwind. Going to capitalize on that upwind break. Boydsmith picks it up to Smith. Smith out wide to Flynn. Over the head of Flynn.
Opportunity for Mischief. Cut Slow White's lead to 2. Short field to work with. Heffernan going to pick up. Marked by Truesdale.
Inside out. It looks like a foot.
Foot of
Slow White defender.
Truesdale.
Truesdale.
Able to affect the pass of Heffernan. Kicks his leg up. See the way the disc is flying. Definitely got a piece of it. Now Hoytsma walks it to the line.
Flynn in the middle, back to Hoytsma, and again into the ground. Here's another opportunity for Mischief. 2 receivers break, but no one picks the disc up. So they're going to slow play this one. Heffernan with the disc. We're against Truesdale. All the way across, number 42, Wendell Wilson. High stall count, looks for the break. Foul called.
Deanna Bjorkquist can't bring it in. That would have been her 3rd goal of the game.
So Hoytsma called for the foul. No contest, this one's gonna be coming in with a stall count of 0. Wilmarth has a lot of space on the break side in the back of the stack here. Looks like Heffernan is actually taking a sub here. Kevin Smith coming in for him. So Smith will be the reset once the disc gets checked back in.
Over in Open Play, Machine takes down Rhino. Move on to quarters. They'll be taking out Revolver tomorrow at 9:30.
Disc in, Wilson with the disc. to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith gets the reset. Smith looking, eyes only for the end zone here, and pumps one into number 10, Zoni Zaccaro. So converting the downwinder, 12-10.
Smith was not looking at his dump. He was going to throw that goal right then and there. Throws that in near stall 8, stall 9. Lots of cutters, 3 cutters right in that lane. Cutting in and out and in and out.
So Mischief here on a 3-point run. Bringing it to 12-10. Slow White still only needing to convert the downwind points.
Mischief gets their 2nd break in a row. Starting to make a comeback. Slow White opened the game with a 4-1 run. Now Mischief answers with a 3-1 run of their own. Momentum building on their side.
So Matt West to pull for Mischief. Still need breaks. Mike Miller to walk up to the disc. Have a side stack here for Slow White. That's Cassie Edwards with the disc in the lane. Slow White quickly working into the red zone. Chuck McBride with the disc. Pick called. This will come in a stall count of 2. McBride. Nice little layout pass to Lexi Zalk. And Zalk overextends. Can't find Chris Waite. So Mischief another opportunity for a break here. West walks it up to the cone. Round forehand to Kevin Smith. Oh, and that looked like that was in Kevin Smith's hands.
Just dropped it, reaching out the left hand. Didn't even look like he had to extend his hand. He just tried to catch it right there with one hand. If it's that close right in front of you, why not pancake it?
Mike Miller forced backhand. Looking to put it. He's got McBride. McBride opts to wait until after Ethan Brown goes up, hoping he'll go over his head, but Ethan Brown smacks it down.
Ethan Brown, 6'4", hard to throw over him. Mike Miller just pointing to the end zone, puts the inside out backhand. Easy D for Ethan Brown. He reads the thrower the whole way.
You know, Slow White, when their offense was clicking, they were using their women a lot. Looks like all they're doing right now is throwing to their men.
Yeah, a lot of their goals early in this game were going to their women. Now it just seems like a huck fest.
This time Miller goes deep, comes back underneath. Another pick called in the middle. You know, Slow White's offense is a vertical stack with no resets back, so you have 6 players downfield. And with all this wind, it's a very tight 6 players. You know, they're trying to pack them in. I think that's what's causing a lot of these pick calls that Mischief's been calling.
Yeah, it's definitely slowed down play as players are running into each other. Defenders' paths are affected by other offenders.
this one stays with Newbecker. Shed. Mike Miller wide open. Looking to the end zone. Once the easy one goes over the top of the scuba, ill-advised.
Looked like he was hesitating a bit there, pressing the throw, maybe feeling the pressure, getting broken twice in a row. Looking for a scuba over the top, and this wins. Scubers are probably not the best decision.
So West again picks up the disc. And now Slow White actually has a poacher. They've poached off of Fong. Put one of the women in the lane, but they still go deep. Nice shot there to Ethan Brown from West.
McBride covering Brown. Looked like he gave up on that one. However, reaches in, thinks he gets a hand block. Brown is calling a foul. I don't know, that one was pretty close.
Both observers in there.
The observers are asked to step in, and they do wave off the foul call.
So the observers overrule the foul call.
Chris Wade to pick up.
So Slow White again. McBride, Mike Miller, lots of space. Up to Mike Miller. And the D, number 21, that was Chris Farina with the block.
Did have Jamie Shed streaking deep by 10 yards, but Mike Miller electing to take that deep look also. Miller there, but you can see behind Jamie Shed also open. Miller just turns his header. There's some communication from Shed. You get a much more wide open receiver.
West around to Farina. West with the backhand, deep. No receiver there, but lots of yards on that throw.
Mischief not scared to throw the long ball. They've been pushing their throws deep all game.
IO break. Nice hands there from receiver.
That's Cassidy Edwards.
Lexi Zoll comes down with that one. Right outside the end zone. Slow White. It goes over Jamie Shed and finds Lindsay Newbecker.
That time, Slow White using their girls. You can see throughout this game, when Slow White has been scoring, they've been using their girls, using their women.
We'll take a look at that. We got a bunch of the Slow White scores have been to their women throughout the game. Newbecker.
First point of the
Shed.
game there.
Lundquist also making some plays for them. That's Mary Glickman. A lot of different players. That's Rosie Agno. All of them making plays for them.
Adrian Ottobelli.
When Slow White is playing their best, they're using their women and they're using them well. They're playing a balanced game and really looking for their women in the end zone. So now Slow White up 13-10 over Mischief.
It makes the defense's job a lot more challenging when you're using all of your players, when everyone is a viable option. When you're just focusing between 4 players on the team, it's a lot easier for the defense to focus in on those 4 players and realize, hey, they're just going to throw to these guys. They're the only ones we really need to try on. People can poach off, help out a little bit here and there. When you use 7 on 7, it's much easier than 4 on 7.
So over on the other field in the women's division in an all-Canada pre-quarters matchup, Capitals up 12-11 on traffic. Ozone closes out Brute Squad. They'll advance to the quarterfinals.
Because you can't find the key. Stop by the brackets. Here in between 11 and 12.
So Ozone, another team. Both the Atlanta teams in the open and women's division working up from the bottom of the bracket, taking the long road, going through the pre-quarters, and making it into the quarterfinals.
By the way, I was sweating on the pole for Slow White.
So Mischief here. Up to 10, Zaccaro. Zaccaro taking a shot deep. Great angle there on the receiver there. Number 3, Chris Doyle. And a quick point for Mischief. Keeps it within 2, 13-11.
That was Ozone, you were saying, coming from the bottom pool, right? That's also their Georgia counterpart, the men, Chain Lightning, coming from the lower pools. They get into quarters, taking the game from Johnny Bravo. So both Atlanta teams playing that extra game, getting to quarters, taking the long road. Chain just as dangerous as any team out here. They won nationals in 2009.
So our open quarterfinals are set tomorrow. Boston Ironside will be taking on Atlanta Chain Lightning. Double Wide out of Texas will be taking on GOAT. The Bay Area's Revolver will take on Chicago Machine. Seattle Sockeye will be facing off against North Carolina's Ring of Fire. Saturday really is, once you get to Saturday here at the club championships, it's really just an open field, right? You've got to win 3 games. No matter who you are, you have to win 3 straight games to win it all.
Yeah, it's the top 8 teams left able to compete on their season, vying for a national championship.
So West with the pull. Slow White, patient with the disc. Lots of open field on the offense. It's up to Anyo. Truesdale. Truesdale across the middle. And Jeff Smith bobbles it. And the heads-up Mischief defender there, able to smack it away.
Truesdale had Sullivan streaking to the line there, trailed by 10 yards. His defender trailed by 10 yards. Doesn't elect to take a shot, tries to swing it across. Bobbled, and now it's Mischief's disc.
Ethan Brown. Brown up the middle. Bowring. West.
Good call.
So Mischief now trying to make a game of this. They were down 5 points, 12-7, and they pulled it back to 13-11. Here threatening to score again, upwind, Kevin Smith. And a close catch there.
Navalade, observers ruling in. Observers rule goal. Looked like Anyo and Navalade both had possession. Navalade ripping it out. Gonna get another look here, see who caught it first.
This one's hanging up there. Looks like they caught it right at the same time, or very close to it. Navalade over Anyo.
Mischief gets a much needed break.
So 13-12. Mischief pulling together. The wheels may be coming off here for Slow White.
Slow White was up 12-7 at one point. That is a 5-1 run put on by Mischief.
So we're only a few minutes away here from soft cap. Once we hit the soft cap, we finish the point. We'll add 2 to the highest score, and that will be the point that we're playing to. So by a few, I mean 17 minutes.
Here for Slow White. Got to look for them to involve their ladies. When they've been successful, they've been using their ladies. Big thrower for them today has been Jasper Hoitzma. His no pivot flick, his inside breaks with that flick, been very effective.
Linda McBride. Back to middle to Trehi. To Hoitzma. Hoitzma across the middle to Vicky Chang. Chang with a nice smooth flick up the middle. Back to McBride. Cross to Hoitzma. Pick call in the middle of the field. Some contact.
Trehi streaking deep. Hoitzma looking like he was ready to fire that one. He was out with the forehand. Going for one of those no pivot flick hucks.
Hoitzma around to Chang. Wind's picking up a little.
It's a pick call. It's Hoitzma trying to clear out Trehi, coming back, running into his defender.
And Mischief with the D and going right at it to the end zone, and that's number 2, Adam Brown, for the score. But this one may be coming back.
Looks like Hoitzma's calling foul on Zakora.
Zakora got the block and threw that goal.
On the replay, did not look like Zakora created any sort of contact.
Observers seeing a lot of action in this game today. A lot of tough, tight calls here from both teams.
Both players trying to discuss what happened.
Here's another look at it.
Can't see from that angle. Observers rule goal. Mischief get 2 breaks. They tie the game at 13s. This one's coming down to the wire, folks.
It's a fresh game here between Slow White and Mischief here in the pre-quarterfinals to see who's alive to continue to play on for the championship tomorrow and who's going to be going in the consolation games. 0-0. Mischief still needs another upwind break to win this game. Slow White still in control, but the way things have been going the last few points here, Slow White can't feel comfortable right now.
No, Mischief has all the momentum, going on a 6-1 run to tie it up. They weren't really connecting on their deep shots, but they were still putting it out there, not allowing to turn it over near their end zone, forcing Slow White to go the full 70 yards. That game plan right now is paying off. Defensive line for Mischief: Farina, Kevin Smith, Matt West, Navalade, Bowring, Shirley Wu, and Ethan Brown.
Truesdale with a disc for Mischief. To Smith. Steve Sullivan. Sullivan continued on to Sabo. And a
Huge
block.
layout D from Chris Farina.
Farina coming up big over the last few points. He's gotten 3 now of the last 4 blocks for Mischief. And West going right at it to Brown. It's going to hang for him. And Brown with the big catch. And the timeout. I will say this, we've seen a lot of goal line timeouts going upwind over the last couple of days, and almost every single one of them has resulted in a turnover. So big timeout here for Mischief. They need to make the right call, and they need to punch this one in. That's two big plays by Farina, and then this Matt West throw to Brown going up big over Dan Pastista. So we're gonna take a quick break here, and then we'll be back to you with this goal line opportunity for Mischief. Slow White versus Mischief here in the pre-quarters of the 2012 USA Club Championships. 13-13, Mischief on a run here. Andrew Brown just made a huge catch. Adam Brown just made a huge catch and then called a timeout.
As you were saying just at a half, many of these upwind timeouts just out of the goal line, resulting in a turnover. It allows the defense to set up. We're going to see here if Mischief is able to make the right play call and get the disc in the end zone. Big throw there from Kevin Smith. And now we're in, disc around.
And Bowring goes over the top of the intended receiver, and Bowring comes down with it, and Mischief taking it to game point, 14-13.
7-1 run up to this point. Slow White, you got to dig deep. This is your season.
Just moments ago, 12-7 lead here for Slow White. It looked like Slow White had this game in the bag, and then Mischief just come roaring back here in this game.
Slow White probably felt like they had won the game after being up by 5. You know, they're going to get their offensive points, lots of opportunities. Mischief ramping it up on defense. Haven't been too many takeaways except for that big D from Chris Farina. That was really nice. A lot of them have been throwaways. The wind is definitely out here affecting things.
So Mischief now pulling downwind with the opportunity to win this game. Slow White now, after being up 12-7, their backs are against the wall, down 14-13.
If you're Mischief, you gotta like this position. Pulling downwind, forcing Slow White to go 70 yards. And if this pull can go deeper in the end zone, then you make them go, yeah, about 80 yards up the field into the wind, 20-mile-an-hour wind. You got a 7-1 run.
Huge bid. And here's an opportunity, and Mischief with the disc, 10 yards out. Foul called. It's Kevin Smith. Foul called on Cody Rebels. Looks like a TMF issued there. So Kevin Smith to pick it up. And the disc goes up and out the back.
Disc goes out. Kevin Smith looking for the game winner. Still Slow White has to go 70 yards.
So Jeff Smith here. It's like a split stack. Nalavade poaching the lane. A lot of contact there. Truesdale able to come down with it. Lands on the defender, Adam Brown.
Lands right on his head. It's a face plant right into the ground. Surprised to see Brown stay in the game.
Hoitzma. Up to Smith. Back to Hoitzma. Some good movement here. Truesdale out wide. Anyo. All the way across. Back to Truesdale. Rebels work to the lane. And a big piece of foot block there. Pushing it out of bounds.
It's
Adam
big
Brown.
D from Adam Brown after someone landing on his head. Gets up and affects the throw. Gives Mischief another opportunity to take this game. Kevin Smith walks it to the line.
The big 6'6" Rebels on the mark, and Kevin Smith going deep right away. And another one over the head of the receiver. Tough read.
Mischief turn.
It's a big blade that Smith is putting out there. Very difficult for a receiver to read that one. It doesn't float. It's definitely riding the wind, coming down really hot. And even if they do read it properly, catching it one-handed, going up over someone, not an easy task.
So Jeff Smith walking up to the line. Both teams playing sloppy here on this 14-13 point. Nalavade poaching the lane. Rebholz with it. Back to Hoytsma. Call.
Looks like that was a travel call. It seemed like Hoytsma was just avoiding contact with Kevin Smith.
Foul call on the mark. Not contested by Kevin Smith.
Uncontested.
Lots of space on the forehand side of the field for Slow White. Hoytsma really looking for that backhand. Oh, and the Rebels dish back to Hoytsma, turnover. Here's another short opportunity. And this one from Smith
Game
to
for
Kirk Wilmar for the goal.
Mischief closes the game on an 8-1 run. Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Unbelievable. Slow White in control of this entire game. And the wheels come off, and Mischief capitalizing on opportunities. They'll be advancing to the quarterfinal round tomorrow morning. Slow White.
Taking on Chad Larson experience.
Slow White gonna go home. That's gonna leave a tough offseason for them. Thinking about that collapse.
You gotta be fired up if you're Mischief. Losing all your women from last year, only having 8 men return. You win a big game like this after being down 12-7. Go on an 8-1 run to make it to quarters and get yourself into that pro division for USA Ultimate.
Well, that concludes our coverage for today of the USA Ultimate Club Championships. We'll be back here tomorrow, streaming quarterfinal, semifinal action, as well as the Masters finals. I want to give a thanks to the whole NGN crew, Brian Bador, Aki Odera, Tim Gilligan on camera, Kimber Coles on the replay, Vin Bowie, our director, and of course our executive producer, Kevin Minderhout. I'm Kyle Weisbrod here with Jackson Kelsey. Thank you and join us again tomorrow.